Hello there and welcome back to the Swift programming course. Today you will be making your very first app. Now I know we've spent quite a lot of time learning how to program, and kind of as a release mechanism from that, to kind of take a break, I want to teach you how to make your very first app. Of course, being a little bit cliche, this will be a Hello World app. So the way this app will work is that you'll have a button, a text field and a label, and you'll be able to type in a name such as Jonathan, click the button and then change the label to Hello Jonathan, or whatever you type in there using a variable. So for example, you can type in Alex and the variable will be updated. You could type in Smithy and then the variable will be updated again. So that's kind of how it works. You don't even have to enter anything and it will still display it. We could use if statements to avoid that happening, but for this we're going to keep it really simple. Okay, so let me close out of this simulator and let me even close Xcode. Great. So let's reopen up Xcode and we can go ahead and create a new project. Okay, so let's create a new Xcode project, and this will be a single view application, and we can call this Hello World if you would like. We're using the language Swift, devices, iPhone, or if you want to do iPad or Universal, you can do that. And we won't be using core data. You can tick it if you want, but I won't be. And let's create our project in our Xcode projects folder, and let's get straight into this. So I'm just going to maximize this window just to get a bit more screen real estate and go to the main storyboard. We're going to set up our application ready for user interface and designing. So you want to select the application and you want to see this blue box come up. If you don't see it and you just click in the middle, that won't work. So just kind of select it like this, or you can click on the view controller, little yellow blob kind of thing here. And then change the size to iPhone 4-inch. You can do any design that you would like, any size, but in this case I'll do iPhone 4-inch. And now we're going to be bringing in the component elements that we will need in the actual code. So we're going to need a button which will submit or execute our code, and then we will need a label which will be the Hello World label, which will be an outlet, and then we need a text field which we will be able to enter in some information. And you can set up this user interface in any way you like, but for now I'm just going to get the elements centered and placed in a good position, and I'm going to extend this label a little bit. So you need to make it quite big and give it a few lines, because somebody could write in a humongous name or a humongous string, and then you need to have enough room for that. So you can change the amount of lines to something crazy like 50 if you want. I will do 25, half of 50. Okay, and if you go ahead and you run this project now, so if you choose iPhone 5 or iPhone 6, go ahead and run your project, and you can actually see what the application does right now. So let's open up the iOS simulator and let's take a look at the app. So right now we have the label, the button and the text field. So if we type something in, such as the name John, and we submit that, nothing actually happens. We now need to import all of these user interface elements into the code so that we can do something with them. So let's close out the simulator and let's open up the assistant editor, which is these little two circles up in the top right, and we're going to be creating our first app now, the code that goes into our app. So underneath or above the view did load, you want to control and drag, control click and drag, or if you want you can right click and drag over there, and you want to change the connection to outlet, give it a name. So in this case I'll just do label, and we'll have it of a type UI label and storage weak. And then we also want to do our text field, and we want to do the exact same thing, connect it as an outlet of a name, and we can do text field of type UI text field and storage weak. We can connect that. Now for our button, we're going to be doing it underneath the did receive memory warning function, and we're going to actually add our button in here, but not as an outlet, because this is an action, it's a function. Something we want the program to understand is an execution. So we can just type in name button clicked of type connection action, and then type, we want to do UI button, touch up inside, which is iPhone's way of recognizing the type of click that you do. So touch up inside, we mean if you just click the button on the inside of the button, then the event will occur. And then arguments, sender, and we can just connect that. So now we can actually start writing our code within this function. So this code is really easy, like insanely easy, really basic for starters. So what you want to do is literally one line of code, okay? So you want to look at the variables that we just created, so label, text field, and button clicked. So we're going to change the text field, we're going to change the label dot text and have that equal to, and then we're just going to type in the string that we want. So we can do that inside of quotation marks, and we're just going to type hello, okay? And let's see what this program does now. If we go ahead and run the iOS simulator, let's have a look at what our software does right now. Now we haven't done much, but the program will absolutely amaze you. If this is your first app ever inside of Xcode, you will think, how the hell did I just make this happen? But it's a really cool experience for a first-time developer in Xcode. So just wait for the software to open up, and then you can test out the program. Okay, so same user interface design, except this time if we type in our name, such as John, and we click the button, it says hello. So we have caused an action in our code, label.text is equal to hello. So we've said when this function is called, the label.text will be equal to hello, which we have assigned here. But the text field that we've written in, hasn't actually been used. So if we type in a name, that isn't being referenced to up here. Nothing is happening with it. So the way that we can actually put our name in there is we can do a comma, and then we can do the backslash, and then parentheses, and inside of there, the variable name of the text field. And we're going to do it of a type text because we're pulling the text from the text field. And then if we run this software now in the iOS simulator, you can see that our name will actually be called. Although I did forget an exclamation mark within the speech there, but it will work the same way, in essence. Okay, so now, same user interface, except if we type in a name, okay, so Lucas, capital letter, remember? Then we click a button, it says hello Lucas. We have just designed a first application in Xcode. We've made it do something, so we've made it say hello, and then it's taken the user's name. So it's catenated this information. It's catenated hello and the text field text. When we click the button, this variable gets updated. So if we type in Amy, for example, we click the button, it says hello Amy. What if we type in, I don't know, Warnold, for example? It changes it. So we have created our first Xcode application for iOS. How amazing is that? It's absolutely incredible. Okay, so now we've got the mechanics of the application down, the basic mechanics. What if we wanted to design the app further? So if we wanted to actually make some changes to the user interface? Well, some things we could actually do is we could change the background of this layout if you want. So click inside of here in this white box, so click, and then you can change the background colour. So usually if you click other, you should be able to bring this box up, and you can choose some previously defined colours, for example black or blue or brown or cyan or orange, or one of the predefined colours. But I usually like and tend to pick my own colours. I really like these yellowy and green lime colours. They're really strong and really nice. And we can also change the colour of these labels, so we can do the colour, and we can actually choose a predefined colour. In this case I'm going to do white because it's quite a nice colour on this line. And we can change the colour of the button as well. Again I'm going to choose white, and you can actually change the highlight colour or the shadow colour as well. So I'm just going to say clear colour for the shadow because I don't want a shadow. And then you can also change the image or the background image if you want, but in this case I won't. And this looks like a pretty nice thing. You can also even go as far as adding up another label, for example, and you can actually give your program or your software a title, and you could say, I don't know, hello world, and you could stick that at the top, and you can actually add a title for your application, which is really cool, and then change the colour of that again to white, and you could give your application a name. If you wanted to, you could even go as far as adding a little copyright thing in the bottom, and you could, put your name and then all rights reserved. You could go as far as doing that, and you could change the text color, for example, or the text size. So I'm just going to put that in the corner of about size 10, and you can change the color of that as well. Which is really cool. You can do many different things within this user interface editor. There's literally an endless possibility of things that you can do. So now if we run the app, it will look very, very different to what we previously ran it to, and it will look obviously like what we've just designed in the interface simulator, but it looks different to the previously ran version of the program. So now we can type in our name, so I'm actually going to type in my name now and click the button, and it says hello Jamie. Now a further thing you could do is actually change this button text by double clicking on it, and you could say click me, for example. You could change it to that. You could also change this label text, or you don't even need label text, just cross it out completely, making sure that you do not delete the element, and then when you run that, you won't see the label until you've actually updated the text to it when you click the button that says click me. So if we go ahead and type in a name, so Lucas, click me, and then the text field or the label appears. And we can keep typing in names, and we click the button out and it will update, and it's really cool. It's really awesome, and this is your very first Xcode application. Don't worry if you didn't understand this completely, but things will get a lot more difficult as you go on. This was just literally a couple lines of code. If you look at this, this is what, 3 lines of code, 2 lines of code. That's literally 5 lines of code that you've done, and Xcode has already done these for you. Pretty much all you had to do is click and drag or right click and drag, and it's a couple lines of code. So if you didn't understand it, then we will go into more detail in this, but comment if you want to learn more, and make sure to subscribe if you already haven't. My name's Jamie, and I'll see you in the next one.